Hi everyone, today I've got the absolutely amazing Mira Morningstar with us. Mira, please could you introduce yourself and share how you were drawn to Avalon?
Hiya, I'm Mira Morningstar, and I've lived in Glastonbury, Avalon for about 8 years now, I think, coming up to 8 years. And my mother found this place when we still lived in Germany when I was a child, and she's very spiritual. So she took us here for a holiday when I was about 13 years old, and I didn't want to leave. It was so beautiful. I felt at home immediately, and so many years later, now we're here. So I'm very grateful every day that goes by that we're still here.
In so much of your beautiful, beautiful music, you share wisdom and magic and love from the natural world and the unicorns and the elementals. And I just wonder, how has living in Avalon played its part or had an influence on your spiritual practice and path?
Oh, I think Avalon, with it being the heart chakra, as people say, of our planet, I do feel so many things are amplified here, also in terms of manifestation. So I like going up the tour to connect with the land, the ancient land, and it feels almost like when you're on the Glastonbury tour, it feels like it's the best place to push your wishes and your intentions out into the world, and to center yourself. So I end up meditating a lot on there when it's not too windy and I don't risk being blown off. And I do think Avalon really has this special type of energy where it can go either way. It's just intense, I think, and both sides to the coin. It can be intense in a good way and intense in a bad way, and it's up to us how we what we focus on and which way we go. So I definitely feel like we've got everything is hugely amplified here and just more intense, but in a good way for me. I'm very grateful.
Mira, in your work and music with the elementals and the unicorn realm, have you encountered any aspects of what you might consider to be like the fairy godmother, or the elder, or the sort of older wise woman or wise man energies, and how have you experienced those?
So when I work with unicorns, it's usually in meditation or dreams, and I can't really say that I've noticed whether they were male or female, because I just kind of approach it from an energetic level of, does this frequency match me? And it's a little bit like making friends with somebody. I don't pay attention whether they're male or female. If we get along, then we're good friends. So I kind of approach this with unicorns as well. In terms of elders, I do think they're obviously much older than us, just like everything else. When I work with a crystal or I work with a tree, all these items are much older than me, or most of us anyway. So it feels like we are the babies, and I try to draw wisdom from each and every little single thing, and I have great respect for it. So I don't know if that answers the question, but I just don't. I've not really paid attention to it, I must say, when it comes to elders. But I do remember we had a conversation about Grandmother Willow from Pocahontas, and I do have that kind of connection to a lot of trees. It could be a grandfather willow as well sometimes, but I do feel held, energetically held by nature. And I think in terms of feminine and masculine aspects, I often feel like it's just both. I can't really differentiate myself when it comes to it myself. So yeah, so that's how I do it.
Kind of putting you on the spot here, because it's a question that I only really thought of now.
Okay.
But I wonder, how do you feel that Avalon, and like having lived in the community of Glastonbury for so many years, do you feel like that's shaped or changed the course of your music and your musical career? And how do you feel that living in Avalon inspires you?
Oh, that's a really good question. I love that you came up with that just now. So my musical background is actually rock music, and kind of it had a lot of punky elements. So it is so different to what I create now. And just before moving to Avalon, I had a very traumatic experience where somebody held one of these air horns to my ear, and I think they thought it was a prank. I just finished my music mastering course at the time, and I was in the process of moving house here. And everything, it was a very dark patch in my life, because my best friend at the time was also was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. So with a house move and everything, and the pain and the struggle, I was a complete mess. So what happened then was I was on a waiting list to get my ear looked at, and in the meantime I really tried my best to just find something to center and ground myself. Obviously I couldn't continue with music at that time, and I was so terrified. I thought I may never be able to make music ever again or enjoy it, because I had hyperacusis. Everything was too loud and too painful, and especially rock music would have been too much. So I ended up looking into meditations to try and calm my anxiety down that I suffered from so much back then. And there was this one guided meditation with a unicorn, and this was way before I started working with unicorns. I just thought it looked interesting, and so I clicked on it on YouTube, and unfortunately I don't remember the channel or the lady who put the video up, and I can't even find it anymore. I've looked time and time again because I wanted to thank her. But when I did her guided meditation, I met a unicorn in this meditation, and I never, previous to this, I never had any types of visions or any experiences like that. It was something I really could not relate to. I would have dreams with premonitions, but that's as far as any sort of visuals would go. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this beautiful unicorn appeared in the meadow to me, and I felt so held and so safe. I walked up to it in this meditation, and I could sense that it wanted to say something to me, and I couldn't really figure out what it was. But when I woke up from this meditation, or when I came back to this world, so to speak, I had this huge urge and sense that the unicorns wanted to work with me on something, and I wasn't really sure. I was quite scared, but I knew it would be something musical. So I then thought, okay, what are we doing then? I had this sudden inspiration. I need to work with unicorns on music. And then I thought, okay, let's ask them and have them guide me. How can we do this? So long story short, then I moved to Glastonbury. This is where, hopefully this answers your question. Then I moved to Glastonbury. So it all kind of happened at the same time. I finally moved to Glastonbury after so many years of wanting to live here, and started writing on Realm of the Unicorns. And every time I wrote every time I had a writing session or production session, I invited them into my space, and I asked the unicorns to let their healing energy flow through me, and to help me create something that not only helps me but also other people. And so I remember I was still very scared because I still had the hyperacusis at that point. But we, the unicorns and I, we did really find sounds and ways to produce these sounds to help with the tinnitus, to help with the pain. So I ended up meditating daily to this kind of music and creating it. Months later, I finally had an ENT take a look at my ear, and strangely, she told me that I needed to meditate to get rid of the problems that I was facing with the anxiety and with the tinnitus, and because my type of tinnitus was different to others that you can get, so it's not it's not a fix for everything. So anyway, I meditated a lot, and after a few months, my ears were all fine. I was all healed, and I just couldn't believe it. So it has Glastonbury has definitely shaped my music, because now, I mean, it went from rock music to this crazy thing that happened to me in my ears, thinking that I can never make music again, to then suddenly having the help from these amazing well, not animals, from these amazing beings, or spirit animal, I could say. Unicorns come into my life and then take me on this other journey. This is really what it felt like, and suddenly I'm making ambient music that helps people heal and escape to another realm, you know, because sometimes we all need that. We all need a little bit of escapism to then come back and face reality again, and feel stronger and more nourished and you know, awakened and rejuvenated and all that. So that's how Glastonbury's definitely helped me, and it's such an inspiring place anyway for any kind of artist. You know, if you're whether you're an illustrator or you like pottery, or you like creating jewelry, I think there is inspiration here for absolutely everyone. And I'm just so honoured to be able to work here.
Mira, on behalf of everybody that listens and everyone that sees this interview, thank you so much for sharing your words of wisdom and your love and your light, and thank you for sharing it with us and being part of this interview.
Oh, thank you so much for having me and inviting me. Lots of love.
Bye.